Hey guys, Disorder Magic here, and a little disclaimer here. This is kind of like an MTG Finance video, but it's not meant for that community. I don't like them. I don't like card hoarders. I don't like price manipulators. I don't like self-appointed middlemen, whatever you want to call them. I just don't like those people. I don't think anybody really likes those people. Oh, except MTG Lion. He loves those people. Every time he sees somebody from the MTG Finance community, he gives them a big hug. So this video is not just like suddenly, oh my god, Des, like why are you helping those people out and giving MTG Finance advice and information? It's not. It's for you guys. I mean, it's like, if I think a card's going to go up and it's 25 cents and I just want to risk it, if you even want to call that a risk, I'll get 16 copies of it. $4. Oh no. So I'm not telling people go out and buy 100 copies of it, and this video is not for the people that would do that. And I mean, the average player, which obviously this channel is for, they can't just like jump on eBay with some huge established account, or they don't have like some 1,000 feedback, whatever, you know, on multiple websites where they can just like get rid of cards for cash, you know, and buy lists only pay like 50% anyway. So even if a card does go up, then what? But I'm thinking for you guys in your daily F&M and everything, if I say, oh, Indomitable creativity might go up, you know, maybe you see one in somebody's trade binder, it's some, you know, 50-cent jank mythic that nobody wants, and you trade away a $3, $4 card for a couple copies of it, you're making their day. And then on the flip side, if the card hits $10 later, then congratulations, you were right. And now obviously it hit $10 because everybody wants it. So now you're the guy with all the cards that everybody wants, and you could trade it for $10 worth of stuff, and you could build a whole damn deck off of your, you know, 8 Indomitables. Or I should say like the trade values from them, not literally with them. So this advice is for that scenario, just helping people out, you know, buy this now, hold this now, you know, not, oh my god, dump your life savings into a million copies of this. So massive detailed disclaimer aside, because I don't want to get hate comments about me helping out the MTG Finance community, the first example actually is Indomitable creativity. Everything on this list is currently a low-cost mythic in standard, because yeah, rares can go up too, but when mythics go up, they go way up because there's half the amount of them. That's just how it works. So now look at Indomitable creativity. Okay, so it's 3 red, which is a little rough, and then generic X, that's cool, and destroy X target artifacts and or creatures. For each permanent destroyed this way, its controller reveals cards from the top of his or her library until an artifact or creature card is revealed and exiles that card. Those players put the exiled cards onto the battlefield, then shuffle the library. So not only can you take out an opponent's artifact or creature included in this if you have one more, I'll just say multi-kicker, because that's what it is, or Strive. Strive would be a better example. You know, you could take out their biggest, baddest creature, and you know that either they're going to pull the same creature off their deck or something weaker and worse, so cool. Otherwise, target your own treasures, because see, treasures are really hard to run. Like pure pirate treasures, like 2-color, it's a little rough, but if you were to try to run it when double the support comes out for pirates and treasures, which should be theoretically what Rivals is. Okay, let's say I have 8 treasures on the field and 3 mountains or something, or 4 mountains, whatever. Okay, so you tap a couple mountains, maybe sack 1 treasure to pay for X, and then, you know, you get rid of 3 or 4 additional treasures. And now you get like 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever you fed into X, you get that many creatures just straight up off the top of your library. And you'll never hit an artifact because your artifacts are generated as treasures. They're tokens. They are not in your deck. So just think you cast this and you drop out like 5 pirates. Like that's a game ending. And so I think, you know, while this is like not very useful below a total cast cost of 6, in a treasure ramp deck, you're gonna have it. It's just you have to sack the treasures to pay for it and then sack additional ones for it. But I think it would be possible to have like 5 to 10 treasures on the field at any given time with a really good treasure stack. And this is on color with them to an extent. So this one certainly could go up, and it's currently 50 cents. So if you had $4, you could pick up 8 of them. And if it becomes very popular in a powerful deck, you could be looking at $5 a piece. That's a hell of a return. That's 10 to 1. I mean, that is not bad. Next up is Mechanized production. This one speaks for itself. You know, at the beginning of your upkeep, create a token that's a copy of enchanted artifact. Then if you control 8 or more artifacts with the same name, including tokens, or the same name as one another, you win the game. Straight up. So, okay, this with the Revel in Riches treasure deck, where you try to win with treasures, and you could put in Cultivator as ramp too. That's what most people do, because remember, it doesn't have to be the artifact you cloned that you get 8 of, it just has to be 8 at all. So if you did a black-blue treasure generation deck Which I mean, I'm not even giving a what if. It is a deck right now. People play it. It's not like Pro Tour grade, but it's good. And I think that just adding more black and maybe blue treasure generators, or at least more black treasure generators and better blue controllers, add more cards to the pool, it could take this stupid secondary win condition, which it's actually 2 secondary win conditions, because Revel is another one, and you could just, you know, go blue-black control, Revel Mechanized. Ta-da. So that deck can only get better when the next set comes out, so Mechanized might go up. The problem is it's already in some decks, so it's between $3 and $4 a piece right now. So this isn't, you know, like, oh my god, it's so dirt cheap, I'm going to go take, you know, $5 and buy up like a bunch of them. It's more like, if you have one, maybe hold on to it, because maybe it'll hit $8 to $10. Maybe. Next up, Rashmi Eternities Crafter. I put this card in 2 of my decks, and anytime she's on the field, she does exactly what you hope she does when you put her in the deck list. It's not like, oh, it's so disappointing, I can never get her to trigger, the card never works, it looks good on paper, but in practice it doesn't work. No, it's like, she is exactly what she looks like. So she's on color with dinosaurs and on color with merfolk to an extent. I mean, dinosaurs, they're kind of like 3 different colors at least, but you know, it's a good color mix right now in standard. Let's just say that. So she costs 4. That's reasonable. You know, I mean, you could have a wonderful card that's 7, and what could that possibly go in? You know, it's pretty limited, so still within the realm of possibilities. And whenever you cast your first spell each turn, reveal the top card of your library. If it's a non-land card with converted mana cost less than that spell's, like the one that's currently on the stack, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. So the old 2-for-1 free cast special, it just has to be lower. Well, with treasures ramping up, you're going to have expensive spells. And with more expensive dinosaurs with cost reduction, I think the cost reduction doesn't go into it, but I don't remember. It's really complicated rules and timing and stuff. I'd have to probably run a simulation on Xmage. Now get this though, even if it whiffs, it says you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If you don't cast the revealed card, so even if it is a land, you put it into your hand. So every time you cast a spell on a turn, bare minimum, you get a card draw, a free card draw. Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, and then if it's like, if you cast a 2-cost dinosaur and flipped a 5-cost, okay, it goes to your hand, but then maybe you could cast it. I mean, who knows? Maybe that helped you. Maybe that was the weakest, you know, the only card you had was some weak dinosaur. Now, merfolks, which are exactly on color with this, you know, the more the merrier. There aren't very many expensive ones, so it's more of a dinosaur thing, where you get an expensive dinosaur and then get a weak dinosaur with it. But still, the free card draw with the possibility of getting a free creature on the battlefield for 4 and on color, not bad. This card's about $1 a piece. I think it's very likely that this will go up and go in a deck of some sort. Next up, Vizier the Menagerie. This is really, really similar. I've put this card in a bunch of decks. It was amazing, absolutely amazing, because it combines elements of former cards from the last 3 years that were hyper popular and very expensive. So it's already a 3/4 for 4, so, you know, it's all right. It's an okay emergency blocker, I guess. I mean, it'll probably stop some stuff. A little bit of an attack deterrent, I guess. But on top of that, you may look at the top card of your library anytime, any turn, any phase, whatever, as long as this is on the battlefield, but you don't have to show it to your opponent. In fact, I think you can't, actually. Not that you would. So at any point, you can see what card is next, and then you may cast the top card of your library if it's a creature card. Now, only if it's your turn and it's, you know, sorcery speed and all that. And then you may spend mana as though it were any color to cast any type of creature spells. So, I mean, that's kind of a nice little bonus. Half the time I forget about it because, you know, my colors are on point. But just think about it. I mean, merfolk, green-blue merfolk decks. I could totally see this being in there. A couple cards like Branchwalker have Explorer, which, you know, you're either going to get a giant merfolk or you're going to get another land, and a lot of the time it's a land. So then you could get to 4 in a reasonable amount of time in a merfolk deck. And a merfolk deck has, you know, some control spells probably, but mostly it's just merfolk building on merfolk. You know, other merfolk get +1. Other merfolk get counters. Other merfolk get... what else do they do? Flying. So you just simply want the most amount of merfolk on the battlefield at a given time. That's just how it works. Welcome to tribal decks, and mind you, there's 3 other tribes. I mean, they're not all green, but this is only 1 green and 3 colorless. You might be able to make it work. So with this card, you could legitimately drop out like 3 extra merfolk that are like auto-drawn off the top of your deck, because you could just, if it's a creature, you can cast it as though it were in your hand, and you don't have to reveal the top card to your opponent. It's just a good card. So basically, any green creature-heavy deck should run this, and there's probably going to be a blue-green creature-heavy merfolk deck, so I think it'll go up. The only problem is this card's already $2.50, so how much more room does it really have to go up, and is it that crucial to a deck? It's not like a combo piece, it's just really good, but it is a mythic and it was from Amonkhet and nobody wants to open that, so I mean, it might go up, it might hit like $8 or something if it becomes popular, you never know. I think it's a pretty good candidate. And finally, the last one on this list is Cataclysmic Gearhulk. It's only about $1.50 right now. Oh my gosh, remember when this was more expensive? By the way, Verdant Gearhulk is already going into Merfolk deck right now, so watch that one. But I think with everybody playing creature heavy, because Rivals and regular Ixalan is just creatures, 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 tribes, 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 that's all it is. If you were to drop in a Cataclysmic Gearhulk and you made them choose one single creature to keep, it's basically a board wipe. Now it affects you too, so how many white decks are running creatures? Well, I mean, there's white vampires and white flyers. I don't know many other like mono white decks right now, but a lot of them run creatures, so you'd be hitting yourself almost as badly as them. So it's very particular, but at $1.50 with like kind of like, oh, now I have, you know, a vigilant, you know, giant robot that's a 4/5 to hit you with, and also I kind of board wiped. It's just a good card. It always was a good card. Honestly, like red-white vehicles used to run this because vehicles were considered artifacts, of course, so there's some room for this. I mean, I think it might take over for Fumigate because Fumigate is so strict. I mean, the life gain is cool, but you're starting over, they're starting over. Can you really outdo them if you needed to board wipe because you were losing in the first place? Maybe, maybe not. So this might be more appropriate in certain circumstances, and the reason why I think the release of Rivals will increase it a little bit is just plain old, there's going to be more tribal-based creatures on the field, theoretically. So it's not terribly likely to go up, but it's such a good card. I mean, I would maybe hold on to them and not trade them for now. I don't know if I'd go out and, you know, spend $30 buying them. I think that's a little bit too much of a long shot. Really, the only card on this entire list that I would do that for is maybe Indomitable because it's so cheap. The rest of these, I mean, you start getting to like $2, $3, $4, I wouldn't drop money on them. That's kind of a lot of money. Oh, and I got to throw in two more bonus ones at the end here. They're kind of obvious. Majestic Matriarch, which is currently like $1.25 a piece. I mean, I think this used to be higher than that in the very recent past, but this just drops right into Merfolk. If they can get to 5, if the mana curve doesn't kind of stall at 4 because it's like some 20 land, just dirt cheap Merfolk deck, there you go. I mean, its power and toughness are equal to twice the number of creatures you control, and there's going to be a buttload of creatures on the field. And at the beginning of combat, it's basically Odric. Majestic Matriarch gains every ability that every other creature has. Remember, Merfolk tend to have flying because of counters, so this would gain flying, and if you have 5 Merfolk plus this, that's 12 damage in the air. I mean, holy crap. So it's on color, and it only goes in, you know, mass creature dump decks. There you go. Here it is. I mean, of course it'll go up. This next one isn't even a mythic, and it isn't even cheap right now, but it's gonna be popular. I don't know how much more the price could go up, but this is the tribal card. It's a 2-cost universal colorless tribal card, okay? It goes in any tribal deck. Any of them. Merfolk, vampires, the other 2 dinosaurs. What the hell's the other one? Pirates? Hell, zombies. I mean, this isn't even limited to Rivals. This is the card, okay? Metallic freaking Mimic. You already knew I was gonna say it. So literally any tribal deck that people are about to build, this goes in it. It's currently about $7.50 a card, which is a little bit of a low. I mean, it was about $10, $11 lately, and there is no way that this is not going to hit $12 after the release of Rivals. Can't happen. Unless Rivals is absolute trash to the point where literally everybody just keeps playing energy, I just do not see this card not going back up. I'm so confident I acquired 8 of them, and I actually got them for pretty cheap. So those are my choices for the most likely to be directly affected in a positive way price-wise from the release of Rivals. That is the exact condition I'm stating. Don't forget, investments are always in context, so that's very important. But yeah, watch out for these. If you have some, maybe hold them, or if you have an opportunity to trade for some, go for it. It's not really trade sharking if it's not 100% and you don't have a absolute for sure knowledge that it's going to go up. If you really want to be on the up and up, just say, like, I don't need this card, I just think it's going to go up, FYI. So if you want to keep it and hold it yourself, if you believe in my awesome investment tips, and now you don't want to trade it to me, that's cool. I don't ever really feel the need to tell people that. I feel like they should do their own research, and I'm trading for exactly the value that it is right now, or even sometimes a little bit above. So, you know, whatever, it is what it is. So hopefully this helps out, and hopefully I'm right. If I'm right on a massive scale, like 100%, you know I'm going to make a follow-up to this video. I don't mean it'll be more investment tips. It'll just literally be like, I told you so. It'll be like an accuracy check. But keep in mind, until we start seeing more spoilers from Rivals, or until, like, honestly, even the Pro Tour, we don't really know what'll be popular and what'll take off. So nobody can predict the future perfectly, not even Wizards. So take everything with a grain of salt, and I'll see you guys next video.